Picture this. You're sitting in traffic, surrounded by bland SUVs that all look and drive the same. Comfortable, sure. Practical, absolutely. But exciting, not even close. Now imagine, instead of being bored, you're sitting behind the wheel of something that feels alive. Something that takes the soul of a sports car and drops it into the body of a luxury SUV. That's exactly what Porsche has done with the 2025 Cayenne GTS. This isn't just another premium SUV designed to keep you cozy on a commute. No, this is Porsche reminding the world that performance doesn't need to take a back seat to luxury. If anything, the Cayenne GTS proves you can have both in one electrifying package. And the best part, it might just be bold enough to take a shot at the king of luxury cars, the Mercedes S-Class. Let's start with what really matters, the engine. Because no matter how sleek an SUV looks or how plush the interior feels, it's the power plant that defines its soul. Porsche drops a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 under the hood of the Cayenne GTS. And this isn't your average 8, it's tuned to deliver a jaw-dropping 493 horsepower and 487 pound-feet of torque. Numbers like that don't just move a heavy SUV, they launch it. Press the accelerator, and the Cayenne GTS rockets from 0 to 60 in just 4.2 seconds. To put that in perspective, that's faster than many so-called performance sedans. And if you keep your foot buried, it'll keep climbing until it tops out at 171 miles per hour. Now, unless you live in Germany and take daily commutes. On the Autobahn, you'll probably never see that number. But knowing that kind of speed lives inside your SUV changes how you feel every time you drive it. There's a sense of untapped potential waiting beneath your right foot, ready to transform a mundane drive into something unforgettable. Of course, speed is one thing, but how the power is delivered is just as important. Porsche pairs the V8 with an 8-speed automatic gearbox. In normal mode, it's refined, smooth, and unobtrusive. Perfect for crawling through city streets or easing down the highway. But flip it into Sport or Sport Plus, and it's like waking up a different animal. The shifts snap hard and precise, almost like a race car's gearbox. Every change in gear adds to the drama, reminding you that this SUV has motorsport DNA running through its veins. Performance is one thing, but let's be honest, half the appeal of a vehicle like this is how it makes you look when you pull up somewhere. And the Cayenne GTS doesn't just arrive, it announces itself. The exterior design blends elegance with aggression in a way only Porsche can pull off. It starts with darkened LED headlights that stare down the road with a menacing intensity. Then there's the front fascia, with its massive air intakes that aren't just for show. They're functional, feeding cool air to that hungry V8. The whole SUV sits lower thanks to its sport-tuned suspension, giving it a stance that feels more athletic than upright. And then there are the wheels, 21-inch RS Spider alloys that tuck neatly into the arches, with bright red brake calipers peeking out like warning signs. This is a vehicle that looks powerful even when it's standing still. Choose the Sport Design package, and things get even sharper. Blacked out trim, subtle tweaks to the lines, and details that whisper performance without shouting about it. The Cayenne GTS doesn't need to be flashy. It knows it's commanding attention already. Now, let's be real. Plenty of SUVs can go fast in a straight line. That's easy when you can stuff a massive engine into a big body. The real test of engineering is what happens when the road stops being straight, and this is where Porsche leaves most rivals in the dust. The Cayenne GTS doesn't just handle well for an SUV, it handles brilliantly, period. Porsche borrowed tech straight from the Turbo GT, the most hardcore version of the Cayenne, and infused it into the GTS. The result, a sport-tuned adaptive air suspension that lowers the ride height for sharper dynamics. Reinforced pivot bearings sharpen up the steering response, so every input feels direct and alive. Then there's the all-wheel drive system. Unlike the setups, in most SUVs, this one is water-cooled and constantly shifting torque across all four wheels. The result is relentless grip. Dive into a corner faster than you should, and the Cayenne just shrugs it off. Holding its line with confidence, tick the box for active roll stabilization, and you'll swear the laws of physics don't apply. This SUV stays planted and flat through corners where most competitors would be wallowing side to side. Add the adaptive rear spoiler into the mix, giving you real aerodynamic downforce at higher speeds. And suddenly you're piloting something that feels far more nimble than a 2.5-ton SUV has any right to be. The magic is in how natural it feels. You're not wrestling the Cayenne GTS to behave. It feels like it wants to be pushed, almost egging you on. Step into the cabin. And Porsche makes it clear that performance and luxury don't have to exist separately, they can blend into something greater. The first thing you notice is the material quality. Premium leather and Alcantara wrap nearly every surface, giving the interior a rich, tactile feel. But it's not just about looking and feeling expensive. Everything has been designed with the driver in mind. The driving position is perfectly enough to feel sporty but high enough to remind you that you're still in command of an SUV. Visibility is excellent. Controls are positioned exactly where your hands expect them to be, and the whole cockpit feels like it was tailored around the driver. Of course, it's not Spartan. This is still Porsche. You get a sleek, high-tech infotainment system, available premium sound systems that turn the cabin into a private concert hall, and seats that somehow balance being both supportive during spirited driving and comfortable. For long journeys, it's a reminder that true luxury isn't just about stuffing in more screens or bigger touch panels. It's about design that works seamlessly in the background, elevating your experience without distracting from the drive. Asterisk, here's the part that stings for the competition. For decades, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class has been the yardstick of luxury cars, the one that every brand measures itself against. It's legendary for its refinement, its technology, and the way it makes passengers feel like royalty. But here's the catch. The S-Class has never really been about driving excitement. It's about comfort, not adrenaline. The Cayenne GTS dares to change that equation. It offers much of the same luxury, refinement, and prestige, but adds something the S-Class has never delivered: raw excitement. You don't just ride in the Cayenne GTS. You experience it. It pampers you with high-end materials and tech, sure, but it also gets your pulse racing every time you hit the throttle or throw it into a corner. That's why people are calling it the S-Class killer. Not because it mimics Mercedes' approach to luxury, but because it redefines what luxury can mean when combined with genuine performance. Asterisk, at the end of the day, the 2025 Porsche Cayenne GTS is not a vehicle for everyone. And honestly, that's the point. If you just want a comfortable luxury SUV, there are plenty of safe options out there. The BMW X5, the Audi Q7, the Mercedes GL. They'll get you where you need to go, quietly and competently. But they won't stir your soul. The Cayenne G, it isn't about ticking boxes on a spec sheet. It's about the feeling you get every time you slide into the driver's seat. The way the V8 growls awake, the way the suspension tightens in Sport Plus, the way people turn their heads as you drive past. This isn't a rational purchase, an emotional one, and that's exactly why it matters. Cars at this level aren't just transportation, they're statements. A Porsche in your driveway doesn't just say you've arrived, it says you care about the journey as much as the destination. It says you'd rather be the driver than the passenger. Think of it like this. The Mercedes S-Class is the tuxedo, elegant, refined, flawless. But the Cayenne GTS, that's the tailored leather jacket, just as luxurious, but with edge, attitude, and personality. And sometimes, that's what turns a great drive into an unforgettable one. So who is the Cayenne GTS really for? It's for the driver who doesn't want to choose between practicality and passion. It's for the one who wants to ferry kids to school in the morning, carve up mountain roads in the afternoon, and arrive at dinner in style in the same vehicle. It's for people who believe luxury should excite you, not sedate you. That's the magic of the 2025 Porsche Cayenne GTS. Not the numbers, not even the badge, but the way it makes every single drive feel special. And if you ask me, that's worth more than any horsepower figure or tech feature ever could.